Hi everyone, welcome to Food Label Maker's live demo. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Reem. I am the lead nutritionist of Food Label Maker, and I'm very happy to walk you through our tool today. Throughout this demo, I'm going to be walking you through the different features that we have to offer at Food Label Maker, as well as share briefly a small introduction into Food Label Maker. Before I go ahead and share my screen, allow me to introduce you to us. Food Label Maker is a global recipe management and nutrition labeling solution. Our software is built based on the latest regulatory guidelines, which are continuously researched and updated by our regulatory affairs specialist team. This ensures you stay compliant with the most up to date regulations, giving you a peace of mind. With over 25 years of experience in nutrition, labeling, and the F&B industry, our team understands you. We understand the challenges food businesses such as yourself face. This helps us create a platform tailored to your specific needs. Today, we're very proud to support over 10,000 customers worldwide and manage their recipes and labels. Food Label Maker is designed to meet the needs of a variety of establishments. So, whether you're in the food service industry, running a restaurant, or manufacturing food products, or even operating in healthcare, education, catering, or meal planning, we've got you covered. For example, if you are a food manufacturer, you will find all the regulatory compliant nutrition label formats you need across different markets. US, Canada, UK, Mexico, and EU, just to name a few. And if you are a food service establishment, you will benefit from our recipe costing, recipe cards, and menu label reports. We also offer different packages that suit different types and sizes of businesses, starting from our most affordable plans that covers basic features, all the way up to our most advanced feature-rich business and enterprise plans. So, the question here is, why do our clients choose us really? And what makes Food Label Makers stand out? For starters, we offer accuracy and reliability. You can trust that the info provided is up to date and precise. We pride ourselves on simplicity and ease of use. Our platform is designed to be intuitive, so no matter your technical expertise, you can start it quickly and efficiently with little or no training. PS, if you did require training, don't worry about it, we got you covered. Moreover, data security and privacy are at the forefront of everything we do. We know how sensitive your data is, and ensuring your info is protected with the highest of standards is our number one priority. Food Label Maker also integrates AI to provide even more advanced features, helping you work faster, smarter, and efficiently. This is a quick overview of the company and what we have to offer. Now we will move forward to sharing our dashboard and demoing a recipe together. All right, so welcome to our dashboard. Upon signing in into Food Label Maker, we are cloud based, which means that you can access us anytime and anywhere using your credentials. You will be met with this dashboard. This is where your recipes will be stored. This is where your costs will be stored. And this is where your custom ingredients will be stored as well. Let's go ahead and dive into our recipe section. You can see here, you have the opportunity to search for your recipes by different fields, either to search for it by the recipe code, the recipe name, or even select the categories you wish to view. Let's go ahead and maybe create a recipe together. Click on Add a new recipe, and this will open up the recipe setup page where you need to input the basic information about your recipe. Let's go ahead and maybe create a simple butter cookie recipe together. You need to fill out the fields that are highlighted in red as these are mandatory to move forward. Next up is the recipe code. Feel free to attribute a recipe code to your own recipe. That depends on whatever you wish to have here, because the recipe code gives you easier search and accessibility whenever you want to go back to this specific recipe. Next up is the category. With Food Label Maker, you could either choose standard categories that we have already preset for you, or you could go ahead and you could choose custom categories. Let's go ahead and maybe choose the baked goods as part of our category, as this is basically the category that best represents my recipe. Is your recipe liquid? No, because I'd like the unit of measurement on my label to remain in grams. And that's it for the first part. Next up, defining the serving size details. We give you the option to start your recipe in two ways. You could either start by specifying the number of packages and the number of servings that your package produces. So let's say my recipe produces maybe one pack of cookies that has 4 servings. Feel free to highlight those here, or you could feel free to start by specifying the serving size weight. So let's say my cookie is around 30 grams. By the way, feel free to also choose from the different units of measurements. Click on continue, and this will successfully set up your recipe. And now you're ready to move into the recipe builder page. PS, if you ever want to go back, it's a very easy backward step. You can readjust whatever you want here in the fields and save it. In the recipe builder section, I like to think of it as being kind of like Bob the Builder, because this is where you will start inputting the ingredients and you will see your NFP being instantly populated right in front of your eyes. Let's go ahead and start by adding our ingredients. Let's maybe go ahead and choose some all-purpose flour. You can see here my smart search algorithm automatically suggests options that best fits what I'm looking for. By the way, in our database, we use USDA database in addition to user-verified ingredients that were added by our team of expert nutritionists, making up our database to be a minimum of 16,000 ingredients counting, and with extra databases to be added for in our roadmap of features. Let's go ahead and maybe add around 4 cups of flour. So specify the amount and specify the unit, and you will be good to go. This will instantly calculate the details based on the input that you feed the tool, generating the correct ingredient statement list and allergens flagged. Let's maybe go ahead and add some sugar. Maybe let's add some granulated ones and add 1 cup of that. Let's go here. Maybe let's add this more. Let's also add some salted butter maybe, and add around 2 tablespoons of that. For the sake of our demo today, this is going to be an arbitrary example of the ingredients. Of course, we will leave the details for professionals such as yourself to make up your recipe's ingredients. But my point here is that you can see that to the right side of your dashboard, your NFP is almost ready with the ingredient statement list generated, of course, in decreasing order of weight, and the allergens highlighted based on what's present in your ingredients. That's number 1. The second part of creating your recipe's ingredients is, let's say you had a certain ingredient that was not maybe part of the database, or maybe you had an ingredient that you sourced from a certain supplier that you'd like to add, or a certain branded ingredient. The answer is very simple. If you can't find your ingredient, click on Add Your Own Ingredient, and this will open up the setup page for your own custom ingredient. To the top page, you will see that we have an AI ingredient parser. We have created this feature specifically to be an assistant for you guys. So whenever you'd want to create a new custom ingredient, you could use the help of our AI. Let me show you what we mean. Feel free to upload either a specification sheet or an image of a nutrition label of a product you want to input in your account and plug it here. What will happen is that our AI assistant will parse the information that is present in this document in its corresponding fields. I'm going to go ahead and maybe just give you an example. Let's maybe add this one here and let's upload it. Give the AI parser a couple of seconds to read the document, and by the way, you can upload them in PDF or PNG formats, and of course, the clearer the document is, the better the AI parser will be able to add those information. So you can see here, all of this information got picked up in my custom ingredients. So what I have just created is basically my chocolate syrup. So this is my custom ingredient. I will need to fill out the general information. Of course, the ones that are highlighted are important. Click on Translate and choose to translate all if you're looking into using this custom ingredient in different label formats. Next up is the ingredient common name. If your ingredient name is different than the common name that's supposed to be written on the label format, feel free to write this here. In other words, you can maybe add in here a little bit more details. And the common name is how it's supposed to look like on your label. Of course, it's supposed to be a generic name and in compliance with the regulations on the ingredient statement list. Feel free to add an ingredient code similar to the recipe code, and this is also up to you. So let's say here, maybe you want to give it this ingredient code. Select its category, also similar to the recipes category, by standard ones and custom ones as well. The choice is up to you to make. Maybe let's say here, this one came from a branded food products. Feel free to highlight a supplier name and add in a supplier code as well. Ingredient general information is done. Next up is the nutritional information. These were already taken care of by our AI parser, and they parse the information that is present. Of course, the more your document has more details and more fields to be parsed, these will definitely be also picked up. Just wanted to let you know that we also have the full vitamin profile, full mineral profile. We also have other nutrients that could be picked up, and the amino acids profile, which is very important for the amino acids pattern report. Next part is done. Next up, you need to highlight allergens. So for the sake of our demo today, I'd like to also show you maybe how these allergens get reflected on the label. So let's say this one contains peanuts. Highlight the allergens and you will be good to go. Sub-ingredients lists are obviously very important whenever you'd like to create a custom ingredient and to be in compliance with the regulations. If this syrup is made up of sub-ingredients, you will need to list those out. So let's say here, maybe it's cocoa powder, for example. Let me just write a little bit of water, some vanilla, for example, and maybe some crushed peanuts. Click on Translate, and don't forget to do that if you are looking into using other label formats that has translations. Next up is the costs. Feel free to fill out the cost of this custom ingredient if you'd like to have it inputted as part of the costing feature that comes with our advanced plans. Let's say for $20, we were able to buy 5 kilograms of this. That's done. Ingredient tags could also be a very cool way to help the tool generate the recipe tag. So you also have standard ones and custom ones. The process is the exact same thing. Let's maybe go ahead and see here that it's dairy free. Maybe let's say it's vegan, it's vegetarian. And I would also like to highlight bioengineered because I want to show you how it will also appear on the label. Feel free to also customize your own ones. We give you full flexibility to do that. Of course, you have the option to add attachments, portions, and measurements as you please. Click on Add Ingredient, and this will successfully set up your custom ingredient to be used in this recipe here. A quick note for you, if you hover over this ingredient key, you will see the source of your recipe. And now you will be able to add it into your recipe. Let's go ahead and maybe add around 20 grams of this chocolate syrup, and there you will have it. So by that, the allergen got picked up, ingredient statement list got picked up with the sub-ingredients, and you're good to go. After successfully building the ingredients of your recipe, now comes the fun part, which is optimizing your recipe to reflect accurate nutritionals. With Food Label Maker, we give you different features to allow you to do that. Feel free to highlight a waste percentage, whether it is per ingredient. I'm going to give you an example. Sometimes some of the flour gets left behind, so maybe just add a 5% waste and the tool will pick up those calculations. These are, by the way, easily reversible, so whatever you wish, you could go ahead and do that. This comes on an ingredient level base. However, let's say there were some big recipe yield adjustments you needed to take care of. You could go ahead and you could do that here. Click on Edit Recipe Yield Adjustments, and you will be able to highlight processing and moisture loss. Processing losses, of course, come while you are processing a recipe. It could be during cooking, drying, freeze drying. Similarly, when it comes to moisture loss. So let's say 10% of my recipe got lost during processing and 8% got lost in terms of water and moisture content. By the way, feel free to highlight this adjustment as a percentage or as a unit of measurement. The choice is up to you to make, and click on Save Changes. Saving those changes will reflect correct nutritionals, adjust the correct number of servings, and it will reflect the highlights that you have done in terms of the recipe yield adjustments. You will be good to go. Feel free to also click on Manage Recipe, and you could go ahead and you can choose those different features that will allow you to maybe be a little bit quicker when it comes to recipe management. Feel free to delete the recipe, duplicating the recipe. Duplicating your recipe, by the way, could come in handy if you have very similar recipes and there's only a couple of ingredients that need to be changed. You could also scale your recipe if you're looking into maybe generating a recipe that is a little bit different in terms of the net weight of the final product, in terms of the number of servings. You could either scale it up 10 times or 100 times or 1000 times, or maybe you'd like to scale it down. Both options are viable and you could go ahead and you could use those here. You could also click to save this recipe as a sub-recipe. Saving this here will allow you to use butter cookies as if it were a custom ingredient. Let me give you an example. Let's say we are creating a birthday cake recipe. And maybe this birthday cake uses these butter cookies as crumbs to decorate this cake. So what you could do here if you want to use these butter cookies as an ingredient is just to save it as a sub-recipe, and this will successfully allow you to use these butter cookies recipe as an ingredient in your birthday cake. I'll tap into the nutrition breakdown report in a bit here because this is one of my favorite features. But first, allow me to introduce you to our recipe card. Our recipe card is a very important report, and I like to sort of describe this as an ID for your card, for your recipe. What happens here is that you will have everything summarized on one document. The name, feel free to upload the recipe image. These are your recipe's ingredients, the amounts. And by the way, let's say you don't want to share your recipe's ingredients, you could choose to remove this and it will not show as part of your final recipe card. You also have allergens, ingredient statement list, nutrition facts, in addition to preparations instructions that you could add as you go. This is an excellent way to standardize how your recipe is being prepared. If you want to maybe even add some certain notes for your kitchen staff, if you want to again standardize the way this recipe is being prepared, this is an excellent source of how you can do that. Last but not least, we also allow you to generate a QR code that is specific for this recipe. Feel free to remove or feel free to customize this logo as you please. And this will help you redirect you to the recipe card. So this will be part of also the label that you download. And this is obviously unique for every recipe that you generate. Downloading this will allow you to scan it and it will add on to the details that you can allow the clients to view while you are generating your label. And this is it for our recipe card. Moving back, we also give you option to access the amino acids pattern report. The amino acids pattern report is very important in generating your limiting amino acid score. This comes to be part of a very big and very important PDCAS calculation if you are looking into generating protein claims and adjusting thereby the protein percent daily value. You can obviously download this report and it will definitely come in handy when you're doing protein claims. Last but not least, let's say you're looking into having a joint account where you allow users maybe to add extra users to the account. This activity history will give you insights of what's going on here so you can see which user was able to edit this recipe, what's the module that was being played around with, the description. You could go ahead and you can search for those here and you can select the actions that were made. So it's an excellent tracking history feature. If you scroll all the way down, I'd like to introduce you to our recipe tags, what I spoke about a minute ago. You can see here we have the ingredient tags. So you have different tags that were already attributed to your ingredients. So what happened here is that the recipe tag got generated based on what was respected in terms of ingredient tags in the recipe builder page. Of course, our recipe was successfully tagged as vegetarian. This is because all of our ingredients were tagged as vegetarian. And since one of our ingredients were tagged as bioengineered, this recipe tag was automatically highlighted as such. Feel free, by the way, to also add your own ones in case you did not want to use something that was already set. We also give you access to potential nutrition claims that could go around with your recipe. These claims are regulatory compliant and they, of course, respect the thresholds based on the cutoff points that are presented into your recipe. And these will definitely go hand in hand with the claims that you want to input, also as part of the advanced plans. Doing so will successfully utilize the recipe builder page, and now feel free to go into the customization section, and this is where things get a little bit of a designer style. So after successfully creating your recipe, making sure that everything is verified, making sure that everything is accurate, comes the formatting. Feel free to choose different styles and formats. At the beginning of our demo today, I introduced you to we have different markets, and within every market, we have different label formats. So we have the standard, of course, we have the tabular one per the FDA, linear, simplified. We also have the dual ones per serving, per containers, and as sold and as prepared with their different fields. We also give you access to aggregate standard labels as well. And we also give you access to the ones with the micronutrients listed side by side. Feel free to also access to the UK market with the back of pack and the front of pack label formats as well. We also have the Canadian in its bilingual formats. Of course, similarly speaking for the dual ones as well, we also give you access to Australia, Europe, Mexico, GCC, food service labels as well, including the menu label, the buffet labels as well, and it's both formats. This is also very important if you are hosting, if you want a buffet. And last but not least, we'll give you the option to generate 100 gram and per serving unrounded label format that gives you more detailed access into your recipe. Moving back to our standard one, I'd like to highlight that my suggested serving size is 1 cookie. Click on Save Here, and this will instantly apply onto your label. Next up, feel free to choose to show or hide different nutrients depending on what you want to highlight here. Let's say you want to highlight vitamin C, vitamin E, maybe you want to add some PUFAs and MUFAs, including caffeine, for example. Just wanted to show you that you have an instant reflection of these fields on the label. And of course, this is where you show the protein percent daily value and you can edit the PDCAS. Let's say ours is 0.7, just to give you an example of how it will show. And the protein percent daily value will adjust accordingly. Don't worry, you can remove that. It does not matter unless you are doing any sort of protein claims. You can show the abbreviated nutrients ones and use to calculate your percent daily value from rounded versus unrounded nutrients. Feel free to change the languages as you please, and as well to manually override your label. So this feature is also part of the advanced features that we provide you. This is where you get to have full control over your label and to maybe just tweak some of the values if you are looking into it. But just make sure that this information is not subject to validation by our software. I'm going to give you an example. Maybe here you want to transform your label, all right, from a package that has 22 servings to a package that has 10 servings. So instead of going back and recreating the recipe from scratch, all you could do is just adjust the number of servings and you will have the final new label that respects the new net weight of your final product. Maybe here you want to say about, for example, 10 servings or about 1 cookie. Maybe you want to tweak some of these values here. The choice is up to you to make. Similarly speaking, you can edit the ingredients and allergens list, of course. Let's say you just want it to read as flour, as sugar, maybe it's just butter here. Click on save and these will be reflected instantly on the label. Of course, we have an automatic pickup of the allergens based on the ingredients, but we give you full flexibility to adjust what you want. Feel free to add a may contain statement here. Click on save just to show you that it will definitely appear as part of the label that you download, and add label extra information. So let's say here you want to add the business name and address. You want to add, let's say, for example, the place. You want to add a phone number with additional label notes. Let's say best before 2025, storage conditions, etc. Click on save, and these will definitely be part of the label, respecting the placement set by the regulations. Last but not least, upon finalizing your label and making sure you have everything that you need on the label, feel free to choose what to appear on the label. So that also includes the names, the panel, the tags, the notes, in addition to the recipe card QR code that I showed you a minute ago. And you also have the option to download it in different files and formats. Click on download and you will have your label ready for printing. Doing so will successfully generate your label, and you will now have the final PDF or the final format ready for it to be downloaded. Now, moving on, I'd love to introduce you to honestly my favorite feature, which is the nutrition breakdown report. This report is very important as it gives you insights and intel on what contributes to components in your certain recipe. You can see here that it's a very interactive report that gives you a breakdown and it basically visualizes the contribution of these ingredients into your recipe. This is very important for recipe reformulation and especially for the R&D team as well. If you want to go back to your recipe and check out what contributed to the high fat content, maybe you want to increase the maybe fiber amounts, maybe you want to do a protein claim. So let's go ahead and do a deep dive into your recipe. Gonna give you an example. So per serving size, I'd like to check the contribution of my dietary fiber. And I can see here that the flour is the one that mainly contributed to my fiber content. So, in other words, it's a pretty lousy contribution of fiber into my recipe. So I could go back and I can reformulate my butter cookies to incorporate more fiber content. Similarly speaking, for example, the total fat, I'd like to check the contribution. Obviously, the butter is the one that mainly contributed to this. So I could go back to my recipe builder page and reformulate as needed. You could choose to view these results as a pie chart, as a bar graph, as a table. And by the way, all of these are downloadable, of course, with the final ingredient nutrition breakdown report that shows you exact insights into the entire ingredient contribution into your label. So go ahead and choose what nutrients you'd like to appear. Let's say you want all of these 85 nutrients to appear per 100 grams as values and as percentages. And of course, these will be in their unrounded formats. So you can have the raw input into your recipes, contribution, and your label. This is definitely downloadable. And last but not least, if you want insights into your allergen breakdown, this is also a comprehensive report that allows you to highlight where these allergens came from if you want to eliminate them for a more allergen friendly recipe. Of course, feel free to leave notes and attachments. It's sort of like a small diary for your recipe. And last but not least, our recipe costing feature helps you hit two birds, one stone. So once you sign up for the advanced plans, you will make sure to have access to also putting a price on this recipe and to check out how much this has cost you to be generated. The first part of the costing comes the ingredients. You can see I have most of my ingredients already having prices in the amounts and the units. This is because I've already populated my costs here in my library. But don't worry, these are not set in stone. You could go ahead and you could adjust whatever you want. For example, you can see here that my salted butter does not have a certain, let's say, cost, so that's not a problem at all. Just make sure to highlight this here and it will be part of the cost breakdown and the ingredients. These are just random numbers just to show you its contribution. Next up are other costs. Other costs could include packaging, labor, and overheads. You could either include costs that were already created on your library. So you can see I have quite a few that I already created, or you can create a new one on the spot. The choice is up to you. For the sake of our demo, I'm going to go ahead and maybe add, for example, a plastic wrap for this cookie, and that's only $1. Click on select and this will automatically be part of the packaging cost. By the way, you can add as many as you want. Similarly, for the labor cost, for example, let's say it took my baker $9.3 per hour and it took him 1 hour to do this recipe. This will be included in the labor cost as well. Similarly speaking, for overhead costs such as electricity, gas, rent, let's go ahead and choose our gas and let's say it just took us 1 hour as well to do these cookies. There you go. You have it. You have the breakdown of these costs right to the right part of your dashboard. And last but not least, feel free to either highlight a selling price in dollars or adjust a margin percentage based on what you want. So let's say you want to have a 50% margin. What happens here is that the tool will calculate the selling price and generate the gross profit. So it's either filling this field out or this, and the tool will calculate the other. Successfully doing so will help you generate a detailed ingredient and cost breakdown report that has the ingredient cost, packaging costs, labor, overheads, per batch and per package. You can see that these results are the same. It's because I chose to start my recipe in the serving size instead of having to maybe choose the first method by saying, let's say I have 10 packages, so then the cost per package will be calculated here as well. And feel free to download it as an Excel file if you'd like to share it with the team, you want to share it with accounting, you want to go ahead and maybe keep record of what this recipe has allowed you to do and what this recipe has cost you to do. Doing so, we will now have successfully generated different reports using Food Label Maker. We have inputted our recipe, we have managed our recipe, generated a regulatory compliant label, customized it, and doing so, we will be done with our label. Now, moving back to our presentation together, so what we showed you today is basically the advanced features that you will be able to access using Food Label Maker. As I told you at the beginning of our call together, is that we give you different packages that suit your different needs. Allow me to introduce you to our Pro, Business, and Enterprise packages. Our Pro package gives you access to advanced features that helps you optimize your recipe. These features include recipe costing, the full nutrition breakdown report, recipe yield cooking adjustments, comprehensive recipe cards, the AI parser, built-in language translations, in addition to sugar alcohol customizations with the support. The business plan includes obviously the features that are present in Pro, but with more advanced customizations and more advanced reports, such as the suggested nutrition and marketing claims, the protein quality score, the amino acids pattern report, the menu label report, as well with the override feature, recipe tags, ingredient tags, activity history as well, with the help of nutritionist support that will be dedicated for your account and the regulatory affairs expert specialist support. Last but not least, we have also our enterprise packages, which is our top tier solution that offers world class scalability, reliability, and support. This is our most advanced package, and it will give you access to all of the features present in all of our packages, in addition to the regulatory compliance in 8 plus markets, hassle free data migration if you're coming from different softwares, for example, or if you already have your data stored in Excel files and PDFs in terms of recipe formulations, custom ingredients, in addition to advanced security measures and multiple users. So let's say you want to have a joint account for you and your team to make use of. The enterprise package then will be your package to go. I'd also like to introduce you briefly to our Hire an Expert service. So let's say sometimes you might need a hand in terms of generating your labels. Don't worry about it. We definitely offer a service that will allow you to do that. So what will happen here is that you will be able to hire a nutritionist and labeling expert with over 25 years of experience in food labeling and compliance across different markets. So we can help you generate labels on your behalf. We just spare you the regulatory headache, and you just send us the recipe details from A to Z, and we will take care of the rest instead of you having to manually sign up and creating those yourself. This brings us to the end of our live demo for today. What's for our next steps together? Feel free to directly subscribe into Food Label Maker. You could feel free to scan this barcode, and this will take you to the pricing page that gives you access to the different packages. Feel free to also get in touch with us if you want a more personalized walkthrough, if you want more detailed insights into our packages, or if you want us to help you out with the package that best fits what you're looking for. You could either get in touch with us, or you could directly go ahead and scan this barcode where you could book a demo with us, and we will take care of everything you need from our packages, and we will help you figure out exactly what you need for your own business. Thank you so much for attending our demo for today. I hope you found what you're looking for in Food Label Maker. And if you need anything, please get in touch with us and we will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much.